Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another track guide. We are here at the new season of iRacing. I think this is season four. I actually don't remember. But this is the new season of iRacing. We're gonna be doing some more track guides this season. We're gonna start it off with the LMP3 at Okayama. This is going to be in the LMP3 and GT4, like kind of multi-class series, but also I think there's a fixed LMP3 that this will work for. I am using a setup, but I think in general the fixed setup will kind of get you around this. The times will be a little off, but as per usual, don't necessarily worry about the times here. These guides are not for you to try to emulate everything that I do and in a lot of cases, you may be faster than me in some places, right? Or across the entire lap. That's not the purpose of these guides. These guides are to give you an understanding of what you should be focusing on throughout the race, and also throughout your qualifying, so you can be as consistent as possible and get the best results possible and gain that I rating and that safety rating. So I have quite a few laps here. I'm going to show you the fastest one. It's a 125.517. Pretty okay lap. Oh, we just got started a little quick here. Pretty okay lap, but I want to kind of walk you through this one, and yeah, so let's jump right into it. So we'll start with just the walkthrough, or sorry, the live lap, no interruptions, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so that's the lap of Okayama. Let's jump right into it. Don't want to waste too much of your time here. So, starting off the lap, you want to come down on the front straight. Just do yourself the best favor that you can do. And if you're not defending, and if you are going to defend, go ultra defensive here. But you know, don't give them a bunch of the outside of the corner. Try and show your intent early because this is going to be a corner that people are going to crash in. So like, show your intent early, but don't necessarily like give them the position. Just be very careful, and know that people are going to be pretty sketchy here. But what you want to do is you want to kind of come down towards the corner, and so what your view is gonna look like. Actually, my camera is a little far over into the middle, but it'll be kind of similar. You'll be looking for this 100 board. I'm braking just about past the 100. Like I go past the 100 and it's like half a heartbeat. That's when I start to brake. This is bad. Try not to overlap your inputs. This is something that I'm actually going to work on a lot this season. Um, this is a little bit, it's not that big of a deal, but if I had to make one call out about this, this is what I would say is try not to overlap your inputs. You are like to a degree sacrificing some braking performance here. I don't think I did this in every lap, but be cognizant of this. Watch your laps over and just kind of understand when you're doing this and try to avoid it, right? But what you want to do is you want to kind of stay as straight as possible. We're actually going to start to bleed off the brakes here pretty quick because we can ride the downforce into the corner. Um, where's the cockpit cam? Okay. So, you're going to start to turn in right before this little like flagger house or whatever. I turn in quite softly as I'm braking, and I just want to kind of coax the car in. A little bit of bouncy steering wheel. Just there's a couple of bumps in here, right? But just want to kind of coax it in, light hands, and then I want to touch a bit of this curb. Give me a little bit of rotation, but I'm gonna start to pick up the throttle now. And so what my goal is I want to end up over here. This is kind of a weird corner, right? Like it's I don't know how to see the track map. Anyway, it's kind of a weird corner. Oh, here it is. Like it's not a hairpin, right? Like it's kind of like a I don't even know what you would call this, right? So it's gonna open up quite a bit when you're coming out of it. So you can get on the throttle pretty early, and as you can see, the corner opens up a ton. I still have some steering in it, but it's okay because I've carried a bunch of speed. It's really important, I think, to carry speed into this corner. And then you just want to get out here as far as you can, but you don't necessarily need to like be on this. There's no real benefit because your next objective is to get all the way over here as soon as possible. So now you've gotten over here. I would honestly try to get over here sooner. Like, basically, when I got over here, I immediately had to turn. You want to be straight a little bit, I think. Like, don't break your back to do it, but just think about that, and eventually it should start to happen. And then, similar thing here. This corner is a bit weird as well. A little cambered on the outside of it. And when we jump into the cockpit view, you can't see your apex. So your goal now is just to look as far over here as you can. And I want to carry the throttle in. I would say you could carry it a bit more. Maybe play around with it. It depends on your setup, right? This setup I could probably do a little bit more, but I'm being very cognizant of what my goals are here. Again, overlapping the inputs a little bit, not too great. But my goal is to very soft brake and just carry speed into here. And then I'm adding a bit more rotation because I realized I didn't have quite what I wanted. But now you can start to see it's opening up. I'm gonna pick up the throttle, and you just kiss this curb on the left side. You don't need to like really get on it because you could like I don't know. I haven't really experienced it, but I could see how this curb could unsettle the car a bit, and you could end up in the wall. So like I don't think there's any benefit in taking this curb any more than it is. Just two wheels on is fine. You have a decent amount of traction, and then I should probably be a little bit more throttle, but I can actually tell that I'm not quite gonna make it how I want to, and you'll see in a second. This could be a bit tighter, um, but I'm just keeping the throttle. Like I understand, like I'm not like in the best place, but you can run a little bit over here, and it doesn't really matter. So like this is not an off track on this track for some reason. I think I'm probably like right on the edge of it. Like if this tire was not touching a little bit of this, well, yeah, I don't know. It seems okay. Like I didn't get an off track. I think in other laps, actually, I'll check really quick just to show you guys I'm not full of it. Yeah, in other laps, I do it better. So that's kind of what you want to do, right? But we're taking a look at this lap, so let's go back to it. Okay, so anyway, from here, similar kind of deal. You can't really see where you're going. Try to make this as straight of a line as possible. So we're gonna put our wheels a little on the left here, right? That's actually quite a lot, but it's okay. Like there's traction, so I say do it. Use all the track, you pay for it. Same thing here. I actually like on purpose put a little bit of my outside wheels on here. I'm going straight, and it doesn't matter. So you don't really want to be turning here. There's no real reason to. So like basically make this as straight as possible. And then as you're coming into this corner, your braking marker is gonna be I don't know what I did here. Oops. Sorry about that. We're gonna leave that in because mistakes happen. Okay, anyway. So what you want to kind of do is you want to break like there's no 100 here, right? So you don't really have that. You don't have that as an option. So there's no 100. Like imagine there is a 100, right before the end of this blue so this last blue like box maybe break. That's where you want to kind of break. Your goal is not to break as late as possible into this corner. Your goal is to carry speed down to the apex. So you turn in. You actually turn in quite early. We're going to V this off a little bit. More like a U-shaped V, but not quite a U. We're gonna run up on this curb a little bit here, right? And you just kind of want to run a really tight line. You're gonna start to pick up the throttle really early here. When you're picking up the throttle, you can't see your exit, but you just you gotta trust it. There's a decent amount of track here, and the car is a downforce. So we're gonna pick the throttle up, and we're going uphill, so we've got a decent amount of grip, and we're just gonna try and keep the car nice and tight here. Not too tight because you could get a bit of oversteer as you get to the top, but right now we're pretty set. Like we're not gonna run out of track. We still need to turn a little bit more, but we're going up the hill. We're on the throttle. We got a decent run out of this thing. This is pretty good, right? And as you see, we don't need to go all the way over here. We're in a pretty good line right here. I say just take this. So run this as your line. And then we run on down here. This is a very crucial corner, and you can lock your tires pretty easily. Let's go back a little bit. You can lock your tires pretty easily here. You're gonna brake at about the 100. Your mileage may vary, your comfort may vary, your level of braking ability may vary, but about the 100, maybe not so much past it, right? Like I wouldn't want to go too much past it here. You can get away with 100% brakes for like a fraction of a second, but honestly, like again, you're not if you're trying to do quality, maybe you send it, but for the race, I would not try to do that. So we're gonna brake quite hard. Again, overlapping that input a little bit. Gotta stop that. We brake quite hard, and then we start to trail off rather early. You can see you kind of fall into a bowl here, right? So you want to actually use that to your advantage. I don't know that you can really tell when you're in the car. You can tell a little bit when you're in the car, but you're not turning a lot right now. It's just a little bit, just a little bit. And then once you get in that bowl, you start to turn a good bit more. Really turn the car. It's not enough of a bowl that's gonna turn itself. Like it's not Zandvoort. So you do have to put work in, but turn the car, late apex this a bit, continue to turn. You now like you're in the bowl and the bowl goes uphill, right? So I would say continue to turn and then get on the throttle as early as you dare. Get back to the right here very, very quick. You can't really see the apex. But what you want to do is get a nice little break, kind of do it in a diagonal here, and get off that brake. I would say it would be ideal that you like the ideal world you would be back on throttle now, even if it's a little bit to give you some forward momentum. But I think we've carried enough speed into the corner at this case that it works. But play around with it. Again, it's going to be setup based a little bit too, like how your car handles in this kind of corner. But we just want to run into this apex. Like the wheel is turned a lot. Like the car will not turn if you don't do this. I've played around with it actually a lot. It's just the way this is. Like we're kind of the middle of the car is kind of off the ground the way this corner is because you get up on the curb, it comes up, but the corner comes down. So like you're gonna have to turn the car. You're not scrubbing the tires when you do this. Pick up the throttle and just open the wheel up. Run this thing right on out here. I mean, really go out here. Go, as far as you dare. And then this is my goal now, right? So my eyes are going to be focused over here. You can see your apex. Like your apex is around here. This is where my eyes are focused. I am going to ignore this curb here in the front, and I'm going to make this extra track. This is not an off track. So this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to run into here nice and wide so that I can basically break into this corner in a bit of a straight line, right? To get my maximum braking efficiency. You can't brake super hard, but you can trail the car in quite a bit. And like, this is the apex, right? We're here. It's time to go. Get out of here. Just get on the throttle and get out of here. Run as far over here as you can. You got room. You really shouldn't go off the track here. Like, I mean, I'm using everything. Use it all. Use it all. Be careful of the grass, but try to use it all. Because it really helps as you run down here. And then here, we're going to brake at about, a little bit before the 50. So like, the view, I can still see the 50. It's about like 60, 75, something like that. You're gonna try to brake hard. I can't really brake much harder than this. I try to brake harder than this. The car wants to lock. But it's okay because we're rolling speed, right? So we want to roll as much speed into this little hairpin as we can. It's a little bit of a late apex, like it's like a mid to late apex. So the car is like, still turning. Yeah, just kiss the curb, nothing crazy. You could see the marks where people run up on the curb. Do that. Follow those marks. So run up on the curb here, and then we're back on the power. You can't give it a bunch, but we're gonna start to feed this power in because I want forward momentum. This is a little bit uphill. And I'm about mid-track, right? Like I'm gonna still turn to the left as much as possible to try to open this right up, and then I'm gonna start to turn back to the right. You don't need to go all the way over here. You don't really have the time, and it's not gonna gain you much if you try to go over there. Trail brake and just throw the car in a bit, to be honest. Try to keep as much speed as you can because you are now about to start going uphill, and then your same deal, right? Like start to pick up the power. You can touch this curb a little more. It's up to you. Pick up the power and run the car right on up over here. You can see the marks on the curbing. Use those marks. So if we just rewind it back a little bit, this is what it's gonna kind of look like. So you're just eyes up. Eyes are over here. Whatever view you're in, you're not gonna be able to see unless you have triples anyway. So just try and keep your eyes up here. Look past the column, and it will reveal itself. Just trust it, right? This is where the repetitions come in. And just open that wheel up, coax the car, continue to coax the car. You're catching a bit of a slide, might be a little bit in traction control. It's okay. This corner is very crucial. You can lose a lot of time here, and you can also crash the car. So be careful here. But what you want to do is you want to run this thing right out to the ragged edge. And I'm going to turn in and just a little lift, right? You can kind of do it flat. You could do a lift, right? Run this curb right over, and run the car out here. And then you're not done. So pick up your eyes very, very quickly. So, once we've gotten past this part, okay, your eyes need to go here because you have to continue doing something. You're now going, 170 kilometers an hour. You're picking up speed. You're picking up speed. You're doing like 180, 185 before you brake, right? It's pretty good speed. And now what you want to do is get the car right out to the edge. Very soft brake. This track is the track is not super grippy here. If you brake harder, you're probably just gonna lock the wheels. And you also want to float speed through, so it's okay. Eyes very far forward. You're going downhill a bit, and just try and trail brake the car and shift down in a second. Use the engine braking. I'm floating the car in. In a perfect world, I would have carried more speed in, maybe, and I would be doing something with the inputs right now. I'd be still trail braking 1% all the way down to the apex. The good thing is we have rotation in the car and we have forward momentum, like we are moving. So don't get caught up in the minutia of that. If you're in a qualifying lap, maybe figure that out when you have high fuel. When you have low fuel. I had pretty high fuel here, so we're not worried about that. We're just trying to make it through the corner, something repeatable every time. And every time I know if I'm coasting here, I'm done rotating the car in a good way. Like I don't need to make work to do this. And now I can start to look for my throttle point and get a really good exit onto the straight. You turn a little bit still because of the way the corner's cambered. You want to run onto this curb just a little bit. I think I was trying to get onto it. So you run onto the curb a little bit and then you just pick the power back up. Pick the power up and then look, you can run out of track really easily here. But just run all the way over onto this like turf and just get the wheel straight as possible. Your goal is to just run the speed down the straight. I mean, I got a little bit more room here. This is not an off track, so you can run this out and just keep it going. And yeah, I mean that's a lap of Okayama. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I'm happy to answer them. Let me know how you get on this week. Let me know if you find some other time. This session is pretty similar to the conditions. It's not quite spot on, but I think the general driving dynamics are going to work here. I think if you follow this guide, if you keep these things that we've talked about in mind, you should do pretty fine. So let me know how you guys get on. I'll talk to you for the next one. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.